Welcome back to Hidden Gems. My name is Arden Thomas. I'm the Syncom Smalltalk product manager. Hidden Gems is where we show you capabilities of the product that you may not know about, but we think you will benefit from. So any questions, comments, or suggestions, please send them to myself, Arden Thomas, at athomas@syncom.com. Today's screencast is tagging part 3. Just like more cowbell is a good thing, more Pragma is a good thing too. So in tagging part 1, we showed you how to use essentially no-op methods to tag methods for revisiting or any purpose that you thought was useful for tagging. In tagging part 2, we showed you how to use Pragmas and how to set those up and basically how they work. We also mentioned another type of Pragma. In part 2, we showed you creating a Pragma with a unary message. We're going to now show you using Pragmas with a keyword message, and also a shout out or hat tip to Karsten mentioned another capability that we can use here to great effect, and I think you will enjoy learning about. So a Pragma is essentially meta information for a method, and here's what we did last time. Here's the unary message Fred, and we also had this return some information, but the major what makes this a Pragma is this tag right here. How we use that, we could find everything with that in it by saying Pragma, all named Fred in this class. And if I look at the results of that, I have 2 Pragmas right here, and I can dive into them, and I can see what it is. Okay, so this time we're going to do something a little bit different. We are going to, and I created a Fed Funds X to distinguish it, and here the only thing this has is a Pragma, and it's different in that it has a Fred colon, so it's a keyword message. And we're using the ID that we want to look up from the Federal Reserve website. We want to download this data right here. So all I need to do is create this method with this tag and with the ID. Now, for the keyword message, finding those is very similar. Pragma, all named Fred colon, in it, and we can find those. So that works pretty similarly, only the major difference is we will use the argument to basically build the response for that Pragma. We'll use that argument. But the really neat thing is that we're going to find those automatically when we add them. So notice this is how we built them before. We built them up. Here it's called build missing. So we're going to find any Pragmas that we haven't built yet, because actually, let me back up. One of the things of how we can improve this right here builds everything every time. So you go through this, say you added a new Pragma. Now we're going through and basically rebuilding everything from scratch. Well, if it's resource intensive to build those, we just want to add the new one or build what's missing, not everything all over again. So a really interesting way to do that is by using this, and this is a real hidden gem right here. Thank you, Karsten. So class methods changed. This gets called when a Pragma is added on the class side. So couple things here. You want to do super, just as a best practice. You always want to do the super call. And then another thing to note, this will be called when this code is loaded from store. So you want to be careful unless you want to take, unless you're ensuring everything is loaded and you can go ahead and populate that at the load time, which you probably don't. You just want to do nothing. So I'm just going to say if the Fred IDs are empty, just do nothing. But if it's not empty, build whatever's missing. Okay? So let's check this out in action. Let me come right here and put a breakpoint. So we'll stop. Let me come back here, and I am going to create a new Pragma. Let's say I want to do M2, and the tag looks like this. This is the key that I need to retrieve the data from the website, and I am going to accept this method and get right into my debugger. So we do our super, we check this out, and it in fact is populated, so we build missing. Let me pop into that. I get all the pragmas. I build my dictionaries if they happen to be empty. Next, I get the okay, I just made some code changes here because it wasn't doing exactly what I had intended. But here's how we get all the pragmas of this keyword type. If this is our first time through, we'll initialize the dictionaries. It's not our first time through. Now we're going to find the missing pragmas. We're going to take all the pragmas and get the pragma message arguments first, which will be that ID that's used as the parameter for the Fred pragma message. And we're going to find any of them that we don't have already built and put into Fred IDs. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to find we have 2 missing pragmas. So now with those missing pragmas, we're going to execute them. So let's take a look here. The ID, this is the one we just added. Okay, so this one is missing. We're going to get the series for it, which we showed you last time. We're going to get the model for it. So let's actually even check those things out. The series, here's the data series that we got. And we're putting it in our Fred series dictionary. That's where we can access all these things now very easily. We put the model. The model has some information. Let's check out the model. The ID, that's that. The title, M2, and some other information. Okay, start and end observation. Frequency, weekly, ending Mondays. Okay, let's close that. So we're populating those dictionaries, and we're also adding the ID and updating the Fred IDs. So what's really neat about this, and we do the second one, we'll update the Fred IDs. So now we're all set. If we add one, we are just doing all the work to populate the new one that we added, not the whole thing like we did last time. Okay, so let's recap. We added new data by just adding this one very simple method with a pragma, a keyword pragma, which we used. We showed you how to access those pragmas. And we also showed you, and I think this is really a clever and capable ability here, is we reacted. We showed you some best practices for always calling super here, for adding something like this so we don't build while we're loading, and then building just the missing pieces. In our first very simple example, we rebuilt everything every time, and this is much more efficient. We could also do something like the other one did. Let's see, return self series for WM to an S right there. So we could have this do double duty, so we could call this and actually get the series. I can accept that. Or we can just grab the series from the dictionary where we populated it. And we could have this go to the dictionary first to get that as a cache, or return it live each time, depending on exactly what we wanted. So that is our tagging part 3, more Pragmas. And that should give you some more Pragma tools for your tool chest. Until next time, have a great time with Syncom Smalltalk. Thank you.